Sometimes you have to give yourself permission to grind. I have had the realization over the past week that I have not been reaching my full potential. I have a big month coming up next month. I'll be in Tanzania for the entire month, and January has been a lot of getting ready for that. So, batching things, getting things ready ahead of time. I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of a break from posting every day on social media while I'm climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And then when I get down from Kilimanjaro, we'll see how the internet is and whatnot. But as soon as I am back online out in Tanzania, I will be documenting and sharing my journey and what I'm doing down there, which is going to be really cool, which is going to be a unique way of sharing content that I haven't really dove into before. But what I wanted to dive into today is giving yourself permission. And I was at a small group the other night with members of my church, and we were going over Romans chapter 7, verses 14 to 25. And it's talking about, it's Paul writing to the Romans, saying how there's all these things that he knows he shouldn't do, yet he still does. And there's things that he should do that he's not doing. And that really struck home with me. And it was like, wow, I'm in a season right now of grind mode. And I'm not an advocate for hustle culture, sleep 4 hours a night, grind all day long, go ghost mode, all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm very much an advocate for getting good sleep, taking care of yourself, spending time with people, doing all the things in life that we should be doing to be happy and healthy. And there also is a time to grind. And at this point in my life right now, I'm 24 years old, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm resilient, and I have put a lot of emphasis on, like, oh man, I can't do this because I got to get to bed by this time, or I got to cut myself off from eating at this time, and just giving myself a lot of rules around what I'm supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis. I am I have given myself permission to break free from that. So if I have to stay up until midnight editing a video or sending important emails or working on certain projects, I'm going to do that because I said I was going to do them. I've set goals for myself before. I've built systems and processes, and I haven't stayed consistent with them. And doing a lot of reflection, I realized that I have not reached my full potential. And my why, to inspire and empower 100 million people, that is only going to get done if I freaking grind, right? Like, I was listening to David Goggins on Andrew Huberman's podcast, and he was saying, like, man, you wouldn't want to interview me if I was normal, if I was average. Something has to give. You have to sacrifice something in order to become great. And for me, like, I want to leave a lasting impact on this world. And I believe the work that I'm doing, creating content, building Upspace, building full circle events, my companies, they are going to transcend humanity, bring more health, happiness, and love to the human race, reconnect us with nature, and help us live better lives. There are going to be days where, yeah, I'm going to be up really early. I'm going to be staying in late at night. There's Friday nights where I'm not going to be going out and hanging out with friends because I'm going to be editing a podcast or brainstorming, working on a project, planning an event, whatever else it may be. Those are the things that need to get done in order to become great. And, I was just thinking, like, nobody has ever become great by working the bare minimum, right? And I know there are ways to, like, the 4-hour work week model by Tim Ferriss, where you can build systems and delegate and do all these things that are going to help you. But it's like dancing around the work almost. Like, I have team members who are helping me with podcast production and video editing and virtual assistant and all these other things. And those are all great, but it doesn't mean that I stop working. Delegation doesn't mean you stop working. It's working on the higher leverage things that are going to move the needle forward, right? The prime movers. So I've been journaling every day for the past however many days there's been in January. And this topic of just giving yourself permission to grind keeps coming up because there were things in 2023 that didn't come to fruition or that I set out to do, not just from like a physical standpoint, but from like, a work standpoint or a relationship standpoint that I wasn't doing. And even still this year, doing a hard reflection and realizing, hey, I set some of these daily processes and some of these daily goals in the beginning of the year, and why haven't I been consistent to them? And I'm committed to not going to bed at night, not going to sleep at night until I get these prime movers done throughout the day. Because ultimately, we see life, many of us, myself included at times, we see life for what it is and not what it could be. And the whole reason that I create content is to inspire, educate, and empower people. Educate, entertain, and inspire people. Hopefully, empower you guys to become the best version of yourselves, lean into your own curiosity so that you can go out and live the happiest, healthiest life possible. Like, I'm in pursuit of that myself. And it's been a mismanagement, a poor management of time for myself. And that's something that I'm continuing to work on. But whereas I used to be like, oh man, it's 9 o'clock. Like, I can't get on my computer because of the blue light and I'm going to mess up my sleep and I'm not going to be at my best the next day. Like, throw all that out the window. There's going to be days where you have to stay up late, where you have to get up early, where you have to do things you don't want to do, where you have to really freaking grind. But that is where the most growth is made. That are where the great stories are made. That is what you look back on and you smile about. You know, if every day was the same for me and I was just going about my business every day, getting 8 hours of sleep and always eating the right stuff and just always playing by the rules and by the book, that's not the kind of life that I want. I want to be bold. I want to be different. I want to be an outlier because I can. And if you're listening to this and you feel that same way, if you feel like you haven't really tapped into your full potential, if you've been leaving stuff on the table, like I feel like I have, my advice to you is to give yourself permission to go after that thing that you want. That could be you want to try to go to the Olympics as a runner. Maybe you're gifted. If you want to, start a side hustle, start a business, start playing music, whatever you want to do, like give yourself permission to just go after it because you're never going to regret the things that you try and fail at, but you'll always regret the things that you never attempted. So when I look at my life in the grand scheme of things, I want to look back on this time of my life being 24, almost 25 years old. I don't have any kids. I don't have a relationship that I'm in. I want to look back and be like, man, I gave everything I had. I put it all out on the table and build the foundation now so that, when I am married, when I do have kids, that I don't look back on this time with any regrets and that I can be fully present and proud of the progress that I've made. So if you feel this way, I would highly recommend you just give yourself permission to grind. And for me, it's like, I did this the other night. I was like, I'm gonna work on this project until I start falling asleep. And you know, that's what happened. I was editing a video and I was like, I'm gonna do this till I fall asleep. And I've even teetered with like, oh, I'm gonna purposely give myself like 4 hours of sleep and prove to myself that I can do it, prove to myself that I can grind. So not saying it's the healthiest thing to do or the best thing to do, but I've been so regimented in routine and prioritizing rest over the past couple of months where I'm ready to grind. So I really hope you guys take this into account and again realize that I'm not saying that you should go and, stop taking care of yourself and eat donuts 24 around the clock and drink 7 cups of coffee a day. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that life is too short to leave any question marks on the table. So if you feel called to do something, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the world, you owe it to God, Creator, to honor that. Whew. Get me fired up here, guys. I love you all. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you that tunes into this. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like this video. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you can take 2 seconds to leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening, I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps the show grow. Thank you guys for all the support as always, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. I wanted to give you all a heads up too that I launched a free community on the Upspace app where you can join, ask me questions, connect with like-minded individuals, follow my 4-week running and strength training program that has some dedicated mobility sessions in there as well, so that we can all optimize our health and fitness together. So if you're interested, head over to the App Store, download the Upspace app, and join the Pure Ambition community today. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.